Hi everyone, my name is Natalie. Today I wanted to do, well first of all, I wanted to announce a giveaway that we're doing for Invisible Cities. So you will already have seen that in the title of this video. But basically we are now wrapping up the first year of Invisible Cities project, which has been a ton of fun to host and to see all of the participation, all of the discussions that it has inspired. And so to celebrate the end of the first year of this project, we wanted to do a giveaway for all of you who have participated. We just wanted to celebrate the first year and how fun it has been. So the gist of the giveaway is that 2 people will win a translated book of their choice. All of the information that you need will be found in the Google form, which is the way to enter to the giveaway. So I will leave a link to the Google form in the description below. Go there to enter the giveaway for our Invisible Cities giveaway. It will be running from the 5th of December, so when this goes up, until the 5th of January next year. All of the information that you need in regard to giveaway rules and everything is in the Google form as well, so please make sure you read that carefully. So that is the fun announcement out of the way. So as I mentioned in my previous video, we have created an Invisible Cities tag as well, to again have a chance to reflect on the end of the year of this project and to look back on the year of reading and other things, because Invisible Cities encourages you to do other things as well aside from reading if you want to. And so today I'm basically gonna do the tag myself, and I tag everyone who has participated. If you're at all interested, we would love to see you do the tag. You can do it on your own social media platforms, on YouTube or on our Discord. Again, that will be linked in the description. The tag questions will also be down there, and if you do this tag, we would love you to use the Invisible Cities project hashtag so we can find your things. So that is the information. Let's get into the questions. The first question we have is, what's your favorite book you read for Invisible Cities project? So I have a few options for this. Some of them, the first that came to mind is Optic Nerve by Maria Genza. This is a really interesting book. It's talking about a woman looking at art, and she's walking around an art museum and she's reflecting on art and other things in her life. And it was just one of those books that really appealed to me and what I look for in my reading. I did a lot of Googling, trying to find the art pieces that she talked about or other famous names that she mentioned in the passing, and it was just a really interesting and fun experience for me, both in the looking and researching that I did alongside the actual reading of the book and the way the book is written. I just really, it really gelled with me. It was also a really fun reading experience because I did it as a buddy read with Jenny. I will link her YouTube in the description. Another buddy read that I did this year that I also really loved is I read Delirium by Lara Restrepo with Mariana. Again, I will link her channel below. And this is a book we read for Colombia. I didn't mention, but Maria Genza is an Argentinian author. And again, this one was really interesting. It's particularly talking about mental illness in really interesting ways, and how mental illness, sort of how the crossover with mental illness and gender stereotypes, gender ideals, and expectations and all of that, and motherhood. Different things that I already am interested in, and the way they crossed over I thought was really interesting. But I think with this book, even though I really enjoyed the book itself, I think the discussions, the discussions around the book was something that I found so rewarding. So I think I would have experienced this book in a different way had I read it on my own, whereas the way we read it together and slowly and talking about all of these things, that some things directly related to the books, some things about our own lives and how our own lives influenced how we read the book, was just so rewarding to me. So that is definitely a standout of this year. Another book I wanted to mention as a favorite, so this is already a long answer, all of them will not be this long, but another book that I have absolutely loved this year, I didn't read it specifically for Invisible Cities because I actually read it earlier in the year before we had that particular country, but it is one of the countries we've read from this year for Invisible Cities. So that is Not to Read by Alejandro Zambra, which again was a buddy read for me that I read with Roxy from Chaotic Bibliophile, another booktuber I will link below. And it is a collection of essays talking about reading life and writing life and collecting of books, libraries, traveling with books, all of those things that most of us on BookTube probably find fascinating and fun to think about. And again, this was in a combination of a fantastic book on its own, as well as the discussions being just so much fun. So all of these three were actually from January, February, and March, and they have been standouts in my reading all year, so I suppose that says something about my buddy reading actually being some of the best reading I've done throughout the year. They were definitely favorites of Invisible Cities reading that I've done this year, but also in general, my reading of this year. And Not to Read is by Alejandro Zambra, is a Chilean author. The next question for this tag is, which author that you read for Invisible Cities project are you interested in reading more from? I was thinking about this, and honestly most of them would qualify for this, but the ones I specifically wrote down was Maria Genza, who I know is coming out with another book next year, or one of her books is being translated into English early next year, which I'm really excited about. As well as Bei Sua, who I read Until Night and Day in April, and then I read Nowhere to Be Found in August when we had South Korea. And even though I didn't love Nowhere to Be Found, I find her a really interesting writer, and so she is definitely someone who I would like to read more from. The next question is, what's a non-book related favorite, in parentheses, food, music, movie, you discovered through the Invisible Cities project? So unfortunately I haven't watched that many movies specifically for the project. Again, I have watched a few movies that have been from the countries we have had, not in the particular month we've had them, but I haven't sort of specifically sought them out for the project. And food-wise, I never got around to it, even though I really wanted to. Music, however, has been one of the absolute highlights for me when it comes to this entire project. It has been something that I've been actively seeking out artists from different countries, and have found so many great artists and groups, as well as just finding it so much pleasure in it. And I think it's because I love music so much, and it is, aside from reading, one of my biggest interests and hobbies, I would say. And I spend a lot of time listening to music, so I find that seeking out new artists from other countries has been a way to broaden my horizons and be a fantastic way for new discoveries that has led on to new discoveries outside of the countries we've had for Invisible Cities. So I just wanted to mention a few artists here, but I will link all of the things that I can through Spotify links in the description below. So you can go listen to them if you're interested. So we have, for Japan, two of my highlights is Omoi no Take and Lucky Tapes. Both of them have sort of pop, catchy indie vibes that I absolutely love. And when it comes to Japanese music, I mostly listen to indie folk type stuff, which is probably true honestly for most countries, but that is particularly the case with Japanese music. And it's gotten to the point that J-pop is actually one of my top 5 genres of the Spotify Wrapped Up, which is entirely because of this project, because it started my year off really strong with listening to Japanese music. A discovery that I did for February is Wavy, who is, they are a Chinese band, and I mentioned NCT in my recent mid-month chat, who are a very large South Korean group, and they have several subunits, and one of their subunits is WAVY, who are only made up of Chinese members as well as one Thai member. But WAVY was actually the way I found out about NCT as well. So WAVY only makes Chinese music, and I love their music, and then through them, as I said, I discovered NCT, who have become, NCT 127, one of their subunits, has become my top most listened to artist this year. So other things I've been listening to a lot this year, Serugiran is an Argentinian folk rock, I would say, as a description, group with very clear 70s vibes, I would say. I absolutely love their music. I will link one of their albums in the description that I've been listening to a lot. Leon Larregui is one of the Mexican artists that I've been listening to this year that I loved. I actually listened to a lot of Mexican artists, but I didn't listen to that many artists individually. I listened to several of their individual songs, but this is one of the ones that I listened to most from one particular artist. Epic High, their Sleepless In album is something I was listening to all through August when we had South Korea. Inti Illimano is a Chilean group that I listen to a lot, that again is a folk group. Just really interesting and unusual, and I love it. I think this was actually a recommendation from someone. I feel like someone recommended this group to me specifically when I mentioned I wanted to listen to music from Chile. So yeah, very grateful. I've been really enjoying those their songs as well. The next question is any countries you read from for the first time this year? And honestly, I think a lot of them have been for the first time, although I'm not entirely sure. It could be that I've read something from these countries and I didn't know that they were from these countries. But I would suppose that Colombia, Egypt, Peru, and Guinea were first times for me this year. The next question is a geographic area / country you want to explore more. So again, this could easily be just answered with all of them. I feel like this year I would have liked to get to all of the countries, and obviously I have not, and I missed quite a few through the summer, particularly because I didn't own any books from those countries and I wasn't using the library over the summer. So there are a lot of countries this year that I would like to catch up eventually on, or get to those countries. But I think the area that I would like to explore much more concentratedly in the future is the Middle Eastern countries. That is what I would like to make a priority, especially going into next year. But yeah, I think with this kind of project, you realize that there's so much to learn about other countries and so many countries that you know nothing about, that you get a chance to explore through all of these various things like books and music and movies and all of that. And it's just been really fun. So the short answer would be all of them. The specific answer would be the Middle Eastern countries. The next question is recommend one woman in translation book you read for the project. So for this one, I wanted to mention Empty Houses by Brenda Navarro. This is a Mexican author. I think that it is intense in a similar way to Fernanda Melchor's Hurricane Season that I know a lot of people have loved this year. It is, as I said, it is equally intense and unsettling, and it has a lot of similar themes, particularly when it comes to sexual violence and gender expectations and roles and women's experiences in society. The thing about Empty Houses that I particularly liked was the exploration of motherhood. The basic premise of this book is that a woman has kidnapped a child, and we see the woman who kidnapped the child, and we see the woman who is the mother of the kidnapped child. we see both of those perspectives in this book, and it is just a really, really interesting book. But as I said, very unsettling and unflinching. And so if you enjoyed hurricane season, this might be something to look for next. I feel like this one has gone under the radar. It came out, I think, in March as well, when I read it. And I just feel like not enough people know about it, so I would definitely recommend this one. The last question is, do you have any Invisible Cities goals for next year? Could be reading goals or other activities, media, things. So I have two. I have two goals for Invisible Cities next year. The first one is a simple one. It is just to get to one book per month. I don't think having very big ambitious plans works for me, just because I have so many different things I always want to be doing in terms of my reading that is competing constantly with my Invisible Cities reading. So I don't want to be too ambitious and not get to anything, which has been the case sometimes with these months, that I don't end up getting to any book at all or any country. So I'm just going to keep it simple and try to aim for at least one book per month, so one country per month. If I get to that, then anything else is a bonus, but that is going to be my reading goal for next year. The other goal is quite a simple one, and it is to dedicate one weekend each month to explore the same country that I read from. So if I've chosen a book for one country, I will spend one weekend that month to cook food from that country, to watch movies, and to listen to music. Just to have sort of a themed weekend. I think making it just one weekend is doable. It wouldn't be too much work to try one recipe or find some kind of music that I can listen to, and if I continue to listen to other things later, then that's fine. Watch one movie. It doesn't take too much time. It feels like a fairly doable thing, and I thought it would be a really nice complement to the book that I read. And one of the main reasons I wanted to make it specifically a weekend is that doing food and things like that is something that requires planning for me, and that is the reason I haven't got into it. So if I have already decided that one weekend will be dedicated to this, then I can plan in advance to make sure that that happens. Looking forward to just having more of a sort of concentrating on one thing at a time, which is going to be something that comes up in my reading goals video as well. And I think it's my attempt to work against my scatterbrain. That is more of the natural default setting for me. That is something I would like to sort of find a balance for that. So that is all of the questions for the Invisible Cities tag. Like I said, the giveaway Google form is in the description below, and it will be running from the 5th of December to the 5th of January. 2 people will win a translated book of their choice. All of the other information for the giveaway is in the Google form. And yeah, that was all I wanted to say today. I hope if you do the tag that you will use the hashtag so we can find you, so we can find your things. If you would like to just share your answers to the tag in this video's comment section, I would love to hear your answers to these questions. I hope this year of Invisible Cities has been rewarding to you and fun and full of discoveries, and I hope that if you are planning to join us next year, it will be another year of fantastic new discoveries. So that was all I wanted to say today. I hope you're doing well and you're taking care of yourselves, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.